Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts, and in today's project we're going to be making this gift box, gift bag, which opens like so. If you were making a little hamper for a baby shower, I thought this would be a really nice addition. This project was inspired by a photo I saw on Pinterest. I couldn't find any measurements, so I made my own template for the romper, and the box inside is certainly big enough for some mittens or a little hat or some little booties. So let me show you how I put the project together. I'm going to make the template, which I'm then going to use to cut out of my actual cardstock. And I've made this so that the body of the bag, the front and the back of the bag, can be made from one sheet of A4. So I will show you the measurements and you decide whether you want to go straight into your cardstock or whether you want to make a template yourself, because you might want to change the angle of some of the bits rather than mine. But if mine gives you a baseline, you can then work from that. So you'll need 2 pieces of cardstock or 1 piece for your template, which is going to measure 5 3/4 by 6.5 inches. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put all the pencil marks on the template, and I'm going to use my scoreboard and my ruler to help me with that. Along the 5 3/4 inch side, we're going to make a pencil mark at 7/8 of an inch, 1 3/4 of an inch, 4 1/8 of an inch, and 4 7/8 of an inch. The 4 pencil marks on the left hand side make a pencil mark at 1/2 an inch, 1 7/8, 2 inches, and 5 inches. Rotate, so the 4 pencil marks are now at the bottom. Make a pencil mark at 1 3/4 and 4. Rotate, make a pencil mark at 1 1/2, 4 1/2, 4 5/8, and 6. Rotate the cardstock so you've got your 4 pencil lines at the top. Move down to the 2 inch pencil lines and make a mark at 3/4 and at 5. Move down to the 5 inch pencil mark and make a mark at 1/2 and 5 1/4. And we're now going to effectively join the dots. The first thing I'm going to do is create the neckline. For the neckline, I'm using a circle die, which is 2 3/8 in diameter. And all I'm going to do is put the die in place until the outer edges are meeting up with the 2 pencil marks at the 1 3/4 and the 4 1/8 inch marks. And I'm then going to draw around, and this is going to create our neckline, like so. So I'm now going to work my way round, joining up the sections. So I'm moving across to the 4 7/8 inch mark, and I'm joining it up with the 1/2 inch mark on the right hand side, like so. So that's creating our shoulder section. I can do the same on this side. I'm moving down to the 1 7/8, and I'm going to join that up with the inside mark at 2 inches and do the same on this side. And then I'm moving down from the pencil line we've just done down to the pencil line at 5 inches, which is 1/2 an inch in. Do the same on this side. And then finally, to create the leg shape, I've got a circle die which is 3 3/8 of an inch, and I'm going to just line up the outer edge of the die with the pencil marks, like so. And there we have our onesie shape. So you may decide you don't like this shape. You may decide you want your armholes to come in, you want a narrower body. Now is your time to adjust it as necessary. So that's my basic shape. And so if you want to make any changes, do that now before you cut it out of your cardstock. For the box base, I'm making mine the width of this section here, which is 2 1/4. I'm making it 3 inches high and 2 3/4 inches deep. So along the 8 3/4 inch side, score at 3 and 5 3/4. Along the 8 1/4 inch side, score at 3 and 5 1/4. And along the 8 3/4 inch side, score at 2 1/2, 6 1/4, rotate and score at 2 1/2 and 6 1/4. And they are just for our glue tabs. Fold and burnish along the score lines. Take your scissors, and then we're just going to create our glue tabs. So you have your piece in this orientation with the 2 additional tabs, the 2 additional score lines facing you. We're going to cut up the score lines like so. Rotate and cut the same at the other end. Rotate 90 degrees, and then we're just going to cut along the score lines, remove the excess and cut up to the next score line. And what I'm going to do is, just to help give the box a little bit of movement, I'm just going to place it back in my scoreboard in this orientation. So I've got my glue tabs top and bottom, and I'm just going to score. I've got this edge butted up. I'm just going to score at 4 3/8 down to the 2 inch score line. So I'm scoring at 4 3/8 down to 2 inches. Rotate and repeat. And that's just going to help give us a little bit of movement in our box. So I'm going to glue my box together. I'm going to use my construction glue for this. So what will happen is this can come in if need be. You can get, you could get quite a few pairs of baby socks in there, so it's plenty big enough. So you'll wait until yours is dry, because mine is constantly moving because I'm impatient. So what I will do is I'll glue the box to the front and the back like so, and then we're going to create the tab. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that, the front and the back on. I'm going to set that aside to dry now. For the straps, I've cut 2 strips which are 7/8 of an inch wide, and I've just cut the corner, rounded the corners off one end, and at the moment these are 5 inches long. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere these to the back like so, and then I'm just going to, once I've thought more about the decoration, I'm just going to decide how far over I want the straps to come. So do I want the straps to come down so that the top sits close together, or do I want more of an opening? That is down to your personal preference of how you'll want your piece to look. I might have slightly longer straps and maybe create a romper suit look. So give some thought to decoration and then decide how long you want your straps to be. You might want yours so that your shoulders sit tight together and your straps only come that far down on the front. I'm going to use some hook and loop for mine, and so you need to give some thought as to what your closure mechanism is going to be, and then cut your straps to suit. So I'm going to get on with the decoration of this and then I'll come back at the end. So here's the finished decorated piece. You can see I used the template once again to just create the shape for this dungaree look. I've added a 3D pocket onto the side and just some die cut elements I've put into the pocket. I changed the straps up to a different colour and worked out where I wanted the length of these to be. I've added some faux buttons with a little bit of thread in. The little bag box secures with Velcro, and then the little box is inside. And there's plenty of room on the back for me to write the baby's name, put a card on with the message on the back, etc. And obviously you can decorate this up to your heart's content. Really happy with how this has come out, and I've really enjoyed putting the project together. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have and you haven't done already, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the notification bell for future videos. Until next time, thanks for watching.